Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
8:06 on O'Connor and Company. Thank you for tuning in here. I did a little Peter Brady there because I'm used to coming in at 8:07 or 7 minutes after the hour, and we're a minute early here. I'm not sure why, but that's okay. We'll take the extra minute. 8:06 on O'Connor and Company. Thanks for tuning in on this 10th day of November, day before Veterans Day, and a day where we had some pretty big pardons come down for Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell, Mark Meadows, John Eastman, and those alternate electors post-2020 that got wrapped up in the lawfare against Donald Trump and against, the Constitution. We also got a vote in the Senate that should pave the way for reopening the government. Cloture has been initiated, and now we can start voting on appropriating things, the way Congress is supposed to. Here's the thing. Chris Murphy, senator from Connecticut, he's very upset about this. So that tells me Republicans won. Congratulations.
Yay.
Tim Kaine also revealed exactly because he was asked, like, well, this deal that you've got right now, how is it any different than anything you could have had, 2 months ago when you started this whole thing? And Tim Kaine's response, I kid you not, we'll play it for you. His response, Julie, he said, oh, you know what, I was really focused on the Virginia elections. I wasn't really.
There you go.
Which sort of reveals a couple of things. Number one, we're good with, thank you. It reveals, number one, that he was really not interested in doing his job as a senator to actually focus on what proposals were in front of him. But number two, most importantly, the priority was the election. The priority was getting Abigail Spanberger elected.
Power.
And retaining and attaining power, not about funding the government. That would be Tim Kaine, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Tim Kaine. I'm Larry O'Connor. That there is Julie Gunlock, and we've got Charlie Spiering joining us now, political reporter for the Daily Mail. You can pick up where I dropped it there, Charlie. What are you hearing from the White House here over the vote, over the deal? I have a suspicion that President Trump's relentless insistence that they get rid of the filibuster was the final breaking point for Democrats because they realized exactly what Republicans could accomplish if they went ahead and did that.
I think that's a good point, Larry. And yeah, thanks for having me on. What a celebration day for everybody in the listening area. You can go back to work and get paid again. And what did the Democrats get? They got nothing. They lost. So very interesting turn of affairs. Very good to have the government back open in time for Thanksgiving. I think it was really getting to a breaking point.
Are you hearing that it was, these final, I guess they had a few Democrats, so I guess it was 4 or 5 that ended up flipping over. Was it because of SNAP? Was it the air traffic control problem that was imminent that sort of already started to chip away over the weekend? Or was it the threat of the filibuster? Where do you think it lies?
Yeah, definitely filibuster was part of it. But the other is the moderate Democrats that folded represent government workers. So it's very much a reaction to their upset constituents. Like look at Tim Kaine in Virginia. A classic example of why, and it really unveils itself as Democrats did this, because of the elections. Pretend like you're radical for a couple of weeks before the election. Pretend like you're going to blow up the whole government unless you get your own way. And then as soon as the election is over, then you cave and go back to work, being the same moderate Democrats that people are used to. This is why the left is so mad over this, and understandably they really should, because they got nothing out of this kind of silly fight.
It is a silly fight, and it was really the people that were demanding this silly fight are the most radical parts of the Democrat Party. I don't understand sort of the more moderate wing, which is shrinking, by the way, of the Democrat Party. Going along with this, again, it makes them all look bad, and it really says something that it was those that aren't going to go for re-election that were part of the negotiating team for this, because nobody wants their fingerprints on this. No Democrat who's going for re-election wants to be part of that negotiating team, and that tells you a lot about the future of the Democrat Party, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. After the election, there was a full week of the entire party being compared to, Zoran Mandani. So that's that you can see why they'd get a little bit upset by that. And so you're going to see a lot of moderate Democrats sort of try to fight their way back up to the top and be like, no, we Democrats are not all socialists. We do care about people. We do care about, Obamacare subsidies and everything like that. So you do have a sort of a rise of the moderates coming back, but also very interesting to see how Trump is taking on these kind of things. Now he's just on a tear, do we have an affordability problem? Let's just give them $2,000 from the tariffs. Do we have a problem with healthcare being unaffordable? Why give the money to the health insurance companies? We'll just give it straight to the people. You have this very aggressive push by Donald Trump to have a sort of an aggressive populist agenda domestically again, and I think that has Democrats worried.
Also, Charlie Spiering is our guest, political reporter for the Daily Mail. You were at the White House on Friday, were you not, in that gaggle that was in the Oval Office with the president during a couple of announcements?
Oh, I was there for the Ozempic announcement earlier that week. So, yeah, very interesting. Never seen that before.
Where the dude passed out, yeah.
Yeah, we typically see this at political events, even sort of, White House events where people are standing for too long, people are talking too long, and you have these people who kind of, stand too long on their feet without bending their knees, and then they just faint. And so that was the situation, and this very alarming situation to have. And, when that happens, you cut the cameras, you cut the speech, you send the press out. The wranglers in the room were like, press, leave. So we left as everybody jumped to medical attention. Certainly it's not something you want to have happen at the White House, but all the attention was focused on this elderly gentleman who was standing there for way too long. And luckily, nothing very serious happened. And when everything was okay, they brought us back up to finish the event. So.
Well, just on that event, this went viral of President Trump standing at his desk and a bunch of other people off to the right that were hovered over this older gentleman that passed out. That wasn't at all what happened. There was video also. They took this still shot. Apparently it was the last photographer out of the room who sort of looked back, took a quick picture of Trump standing there, and then left the room.
Yeah.
But
it made it look like Trump was indifferent
and didn't care. And, the comments like, oh, when Trump's not the, the star of the show or the center of attention, look what he does. And it's sort of they were saying Marie Antoinette presidency. It's just disgusting because, of course, he got up and he went over to see if the man was okay. What was your experience seeing that? Did Trump just stand there? We know that he didn't. But what was your reaction to sort of the commentary?
Right. Yeah. When I was in the room, we definitely saw the president look over at the man, stand up, go over, see if he was okay. They made fun of RFK for running out of the room. Well, RFK Jr. was running to get the doctor.
Right.
And Dr. Oz went over to personally attend. You're in a room full of professional doctors, and everybody sort of did what they were expected to do. The president made sure he was okay, then turned to look at the press and, go away, we'll have you come back later. Yeah. Very, very sort of, it seemed very normal. I don't want to say it's normal because it doesn't happen in the Oval Office. Can't remember the last time it happened in the Oval Office. But if you've been to political events, you know that this happens all the time. The president will stop the event, make sure the person's okay. Everybody goes out. Everybody comes back. They resume the event. So pretty standard operating procedure here.
Charlie, it's always great to talk with you, my friend, Charlie Spiering. Sorry, how my brain works in 2025. I was on the verge of calling you Charlie Kirk because he's always on my mind. I'm sorry, Charlie. But you're pretty awesome, Charlie. Charlie Spiering from Daily Mail. It's always good to talk to you, my friend. Thanks for joining us today.
You bet, Larry. Anytime.
You bet. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird how your brain works sometimes? Yeah. It's just, I don't know why. It was just because there's a lot of Charlies, and Charlie's a good guy, too.
That's right.
Good moment to remind ourselves to pray for Charlie and his family and reflect on what we lost this year. 8:15 WMAL.